I'm 680 News Senior Business Editor Mike Eppel. Pretty good day on the markets. We saw a little bit of resiliency for investors. Not as concerned about the worries about a global economic slowdown. Investors bought in early and often, sending the TSX and Dow Jones Industrial Average to some sizable gains today. Positive catalyst on Wall Street certainly was Apple, sort of the day after response from the analysts in the U.S. regarding Apple's unveiling of its Apple TV Plus subscription service, streaming video, which will be launching later this fall with all sorts of star power backing it. The big questions, though, that remain are the price points. What will it cost on a monthly basis? We know that Apple's new news subscription service will be around $10 U.S. when it launches. They're also launching an Apple video game service as well. All of these can be big revenue generators in the future as they work on a overall user base of more than 1.4 billion iPhone users globally now, and that's a pretty good starting point. Apple's share price today was up by almost 2%, and the company's back worth more than $900 billion U.S. Another blow, meantime, for Boeing in the ongoing fallout from the grounding of the 737 MAX jets. Airbus today signed a massive contract with China for up to 290 Airbus A320 jets. And those are the same configuration or size as the Boeing 737 MAX. China's buying the Airbus planes, and they're paying $35 billion for that massive sale. So we'll see exactly if this is the first of many orders that Boeing potentially loses, as the MAX 8s will be grounded for the foreseeable future. Well, we haven't heard too much on the potential signing of the USMCA trade deal. It was, of course, agreed to late last year, but it's still in the government realm at this point. It needs to be signed off on by various levels of government here in Canada, in the U.S., and in Mexico. Donald Trump, the U.S. president, could need House Leader Nancy Pelosi's help with Pelosi now in charge of the House of Congress, and the Democrats will probably be looking for change on environmental restrictions and rules related to the trade deal between Canada, the U.S., and Mexico. Our Foreign Affairs Minister, Chrystia Freeland, saying they're going to have to drop the U.S. tariffs against Canadian steel and aluminum exports before we see any type of movement for our government signing off on that deal. McDonald's wants to personalize the drive-thru in an effort to upgrade things. They're buying an Israeli-based startup called Dynamic Yield, and this company allows for all of those video screens to be much more fluid, so to speak, depending on the customer, depending on the time of day, what the weather is outside, and McDonald's can be changing their menu offerings much more rapidly. This is the biggest deal in 20 years for McDonald's. It's worth about $300 million U.S. And more questions about the valuations of cannabis companies. We heard from Cronus Group today of Toronto. This company had a loss of almost $12 million in its latest quarter on sales that tripled to $5.6 million. But keep in mind, this company has a market value at almost $9 billion. It's got big backers, including Altria of the U.S. But at the same time, they have to see rapid growth to see the market value equate to what the company's earnings potential could be. The share price of Cronus Group today was down by about 4% at the TSX. From the 680 Newsroom, I'm Mike Eppel for City News.